Hi everyone, this is Gary Wilson and welcome to this week's version of the weekly live webinar. This is for the Investor Agent Training Program. Some of you have been through the program for buying rentals and some of you have been through the program for buying flips, and many of you have actually done two or more, so welcome aboard. Tonight, actually just brief recap. If you think back over the last 2 months, we've been focusing almost exclusively on marketing campaigns. So January, we started off the year going through the first couple of modules in the training programs, and then we got into marketing. We've been in marketing pretty much exclusively for the last 2 months. And probably by the end of April, we'll be through with all the marketing campaigns. So if you haven't heard something you want to learn about, and you know that it's out there, you know that it's a subject, please check the prior recordings. They're all logged, they're all housed on the database and cataloged by subject tag. So you can read the subject line and see what it was we went over. And then you just simply play it, record it, and you have access to it as long as you want, So keep that in mind. Tonight, Beverly is going to talk about Craigslist and HUD listings and maybe one or two other things. The next 2 weeks, I'm not quite sure what's going to come first, what's going to come second, but we're going to show you how to use YouTube, and we're also going to show you how to do your basically create your own basic website. Nothing fancy, nothing very expensive. Our goal is to have you do what you can do as inexpensively as possible. So that's a critical factor in this program. It's not just about making money; it's also about saving a little bit about what you make. So, in any case, keep an eye out for that. We'll make sure you know when we're going to do the YouTube and the website setups. Other than that, I think we will have gotten through pretty much everything after we've done that. So in any case, Beverly, if you're all set, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to you. And if you're online, if you have questions, please type them in the question box. I'll let sure Beverly knows that we've got a question there. Does that sound good?
Okay, very good. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here with you tonight. I'm going to show you a couple of processes that are actually very simple to use. However, like anything else, unless someone shows it to you, it can appear very complicated. So I'm going to try to take the confusion out of it for you. And then you can use it to help build your business. The first that we're going to talk about is Craigslist and how to get an account, how to post an ad. So what you're going to see on your screen right now is Craigslist. And don't worry about any of these websites that we discussed tonight. I'm going to send them to you tomorrow in the email that I send with the recording of tonight's webinar. When I log into Craigslist, it automatically defaults to Pittsburgh because that's where I am. You will actually log into Craigslist.org, and then you will set it to whatever city and state you're from if you've never logged into it before, and then it will automatically default there for you as well. What we're going to talk about this evening is how to post a real estate ad in Craigslist. So what you're going to see here, I have not logged into my account yet. This is the screen that will come up, and all of these little titles over here, community, housing, jobs for sale, give you the opportunity to search other postings that are already online that people have posted with Craigslist. So what I always like to do when I'm going to post something in Craigslist is go into the category that I'm looking to post in first to see what my competition is. I like to look to see what else is out there. So we're going to look under housing, and we're going to look under real estate for sale. That's where you would want to look because that's where you're going to be posting. And Gary, as you'll see, Craigslist has really changed their format a lot. These represent the different postings that are in Craigslist right now. You'll see the first one we're looking at is a picture of a house. It's a price drop package deal in McKeesport. And I'm going to click on it just so you can see what an ad looks like. So this is an ad that someone has placed. The one that we're going to show you tonight is going to look much better than this. We're not going to have this many pictures in it. We're just going to do one simply because I wanted to show you how to upload a picture, but we're going to put a little bit more oomph to our ad than what you're seeing here. But this gives you the idea of what one looks like. You're going to see the picture. You're going to see a map. Whenever you put the address in, it will map out the location so prospective buyers can see where it's located, and then the description is right down here. And like I said, this one has various pictures that you can go through. we'll go back here and we'll take a look at one more. We've got some really, really low prices here. Let's look at Lawrenceville Investor Special because we focus on investment properties. So here's an investor special, seller financing available, and there's their ad with several pictures. It does make a much better presentation if you put in several pictures. Try to make them good. Try to make them look clean, obviously, not, you know, anything that's very cluttered up. The nicer the pictures, the better, you know, response that you're going to have, obviously. But like I said, tonight we're just going to show you one with one picture. So let's go back now. You've seen a couple of ads. Now, if you do not have a Craigslist account, you would want to get one. And the reason for that is you can go in and post to classifieds and just post without having an account, but then it's really hard to maintain your ads. They send you an email link and you've got to go back into that link to edit or do anything that you want. But if you want to repost the ad and maintain it in terms of, you know, anything that you want to readily access in a pretty easy fashion, it's much easier to have an account. So I do have an account and I'm going to show you how to log into that. You would basically click right here where I'm pointing my account. And this is where I would log in, email and password. If you do not have an account, which, you know, a lot of you may not at this point, you would go down to this section right here where you would create an account. You put in your email, click create account, and then it will talk you through what you need to do. It's really easy and there is no cost to create an account. So we're going to get me logged in here. Just bear with me one second.
Hey, Bev, is it possible, I think we used to do this, is it possible to have multiple Craigslist accounts? Like for the folks on
Yeah.
the, okay, all right, good.
Yep. Yeah, you can have as many Craigslist accounts as you want to have. Wait, we've got a problem here with my screen. This stuff is all in my way. I got to adjust here. Yeah, you can have as many Craigslist accounts as you want to have. And Gary brings up a really good point because it will help for a couple reasons. When you make an ad, you cannot actually go in and repost that ad for 3 days. That ad has to be live for 3 days before you can repost. Why would you want to repost? Because as you're posting Craigslist ads, so is everyone else. And as everyone else is posting, your ad is moving down that list and your ad is getting buried. If you have more than one Craigslist account, you can create another ad and go and repost it, and, you know, none's the wiser. What you can do if you only want to have one Craigslist account and you want to post that ad several times so that it stays up the list, you can go in and create another ad for that same property. However, use a different title, use different verbiage, switch it up. Otherwise, Craigslist will recognize a duplicate ad and it will drop one, so it won't post. But yeah, Gary, that was a very good point. Now, what we're going to do here, I'm trying to adjust my screen because that little box, Gary, for the webinar is right in my way. With the ad that we're going to be placing tonight, one of our newer students was very generous in working with me this afternoon, and I know she's on tonight, Alyssa Apodaco. We're going to be posting one of her investment properties. And in light of that, we're not going to be posting in Pittsburgh. So we're going to be posting in Los Angeles. So what I'm doing now, if you can see from the drop-down menu, I've gone in and I've selected Los Angeles, California. And what it will do now is it's going to take me, because there's Craigslist, obviously all over the U.S. and in other countries as well, it's going to take my posting so that I can post in the Los Angeles area and not in Pittsburgh, because that's where this property is located. The next page comes up, it's asking me what type of posting that I want. And ours is housing offered. That's where you always want to go. So we'll click on that. And obviously you guys are all licensed agents, so we're posting under real estate by broker. Now, then the set of guidelines is going to come up, and you'll see this whenever you play with Craigslist on your own. So I'm not going to go into it. It's just basically telling you you need to post 100% about a single specific currently available property. It's basic stuff. So I'm just going to abide by the guidelines. And now Los Angeles is a very big area. When you're in a smaller area like Pittsburgh, I don't have a bunch of selections to choose from. However, for Los Angeles, we do. So according to Alyssa, we want Central LA, and voila. We are over to where we will now be completing our ad. So what we're going to look at here is all the different specifics that we're going to need to fill in, why we do it, and why we don't want to do certain things. Now, the first thing you're going to see is CL Mail Relay, which is recommended. That's a Craigslist relay email. So if you want people to respond to your ad via email and you want it to be blind, so in other words, you don't want them to see your email address. Mine here is bjkepch@msn.com. Craigslist will create a blind email for you that they will reply to, and that way then your email address is kept personal. So, and I do recommend that if you're going to have them reply to an email, you use that. It's seamless. There is no problems with it. It just, you know, they look like they're replying to something that is a Craigslist email and they don't see your personal email. If you click here, it's going to show your real email address. And you may want that. Maybe it's a completely business email address and you don't mind that showing because it helps promote your company. So such as ours, we have Beverly@myinvestmentservices.com. So if I had a Craigslist account with that email, I would not have a problem promoting that email account. Or you can select no replies to this email, which is what we're going to select because this email, it would come to me and I'm promoting for someone in Los Angeles. So we want all the replies for this particular property to go to Alyssa out in Los Angeles. So no replies to this email. Therefore, we're going to select that the replies will be by phone. And what I did, I set the ad up with Alyssa this afternoon and just have everything ready so I can copy paste and you don't have to wait for me to type. So I am just basically pulling information that I pre-prepared earlier today and pasting it over here. And then so that's her phone number, and now it's asking for contact name. So we're going to put her name in there, Alyssa Apodaca. And Alyssa, I hope I didn't botch your name too much. I know you're on, so thank you for letting me use your property this evening. Posting title is next, and it's going to be investment opportunity in East LA. And I'm just going to copy and paste that over. Specific location is, again, East LA. And her zip is 90022. Okay, so you can see so far we've got no replies to the email. Contact will be by phone. This is the phone number, her name, the title, the location, and the zip. Next, we're looking for the posting body. And again, I put all that together this afternoon with Alyssa, along with, once again, her name and her agency name. Now, when you copy paste, obviously, it just kind of all bunches together. So we're going to break it up a little bit, make it a little easier to read, and it looks a little bit more eye-appealing, and you'll see whenever we preview the ad why I've done this. So just give me a minute to pretty it up here a bit, and then I'll read the ad to you. Okay, 4 units with recent upgrades, great investment property, will not last. 10-minute walk from the Gold Metro Line 804 at the Maryville Station stop. This location is in East Los Angeles. Nearby parks include Atlantic Avenue Park, Woods Avenue Park, and Belvedere Park. Great rental income potential for price. Sellers are looking for a cash or hard money buyer for a quick sell. Then I put the name of the office and listing agent Alyssa again. So again, what we did here in the ad, and some of you may or may not have a background in marketing, but you want to try to make it sound as enticing as possible. So we're going to put the things that, you know, great investment opportunity, what parks it's by, close to the Metro Gold Line, and I'm sure that you do that already. with, your MLS listings that you take care of. Now we're going to go down to posting details. We did not have the total square foot on this property, so we can't put that in, but that's what this box right here would be for. So that we're going to leave blank just because we don't have it. Next, we're going to put the price, which is $4.99. Available on, we'll leave that today's date because we're posting today. So it's available April 6th, 2016. Number of bedrooms we have as 4. And you would more than likely be pulling all this information from your MLS listing, which is what Alyssa and I did earlier today. Number of bathrooms are 3. Now, if you by any chance had open house dates set for this property, there are 3 areas here where you could actually put in as many as 3 different open house dates, which, I mean, that's actually something good to do. If you know you're going to place a Craigslist ad and you want to move a property pretty quick, I caught Alyssa last minute with this today, so we didn't really have a chance to set any open house dates. But to set the open house dates in an ad like this could definitely present some traffic for you. So that might be a good idea to, work into your marketing whenever you're putting your properties out there on Craigslist. Housing type is apartment. Laundry, there's nothing that we're going to put with laundry. However, these were the options that you had. And you may not be able to see that. I think my print comes up pretty big on your screen. These were the different types of housing types that you could select from, and this is apartment. Parking, we have street parking with this property. So I'm going to select street parking. If it were furnished, you could click that, non-smoking, wheelchair accessible. So they have a couple different things there that you could complete. This is a licensed agent who is placing this. When it asks for licensing information, all we've ever done is put the name of our agency. We've never put license numbers in there, and Craigslist has never kicked it out. So that worked. The next section here, you're going to see we can select the street address. And the reason you really want to put the street address in was, remember I had shown you a couple sample ads and there were maps there. What it will actually do, and you'll see whenever we preview this ad before we publish it, what it will actually do is map out for you where this property is located. And it gives the potential buyer a much better idea of where the property is located. So we're going to carry over the address, which is 560 South McDonald Avenue. And again, we're in East Los Angeles. And we're in California. Okay, so it looks like we've got everything pretty well complete on this page. This box down here is asking basically for permission for other people to contact you about services, products, or commercial interests. I always unselect that because it's not okay. I don't want to be solicited as a result. So this is basically how we're going to complete the ad at this point. There is a little more to this, but on the next page, we're going to get into another step. So I'm going to pause right here, and maybe Gary can check the screen to see if there are any questions.
Yeah. Hey,
did you want to check, Gary?
We do. And actually, the first one is from Paul Rowe. Hi, Paul. How you doing, buddy? And Paul is asking that while there is no cost to create the account or to post, is there any eventual cost to using Craigslist?
Craigslist, Paul, and that's a really, really good question, because Craigslist is changing constantly, and they're definitely making things more challenging and restricting a lot of things that they didn't used to restrict. However, Craigslist has never charged us to post ads. The Craigslist account itself is free. Posting the ad itself, we've never had charges for. However, I have heard rumors that there are some states where Craigslist does charge. So you might want to check whenever you create your account with Craigslist. It will give you specifics when you do create the account, their policies and provisions. So just make certain that you do read that. Craigslist used to let us create ads with postlets. I'm sure a lot of you have used postlets in the past. Postlets would create a beautiful ad for us with HTML coding specifically for Craigslist, and you would carry over the HTML coding, place it right here in the body, and it created a beautiful ad. I mean, it was gorgeous. However, Craigslist did away with that. You can no longer do that. Postlets is pretty much done anyhow. They're with Zillow. But you can also not put any links to anything in the body of a Craigslist ad, and you used to be able to do that. So at this point, my answer to your question would be, I have never incurred any fees, neither has Gary or this office. However, I have heard in some states that they are charging, so you just may want to check, once you open your Craigslist account.
And a couple of the things, Bevan, for everybody on the call, while you can no longer put a what's called a hyperlink in the ad, in other words, you click on it, it's clickable, you can refer to a website. You can say, go to, or visit myinvestmentservices.com for a free report. And you can still do that, right, Bev? In other words, it's not a hot link, but it's just you're just typing in text, just like you're typing in the ad,
Yeah, if you put anything in that says www.myinvestmentservices.com, it's going to try to create a link. And if it creates a link, Craigslist is going to give you like all these little funny symbols, and it's not going to look right. So what I would do is I would just go to myinvestmentservices.com. Don't put in the www. And then what they're going to see is the word. It won't be a clickable link, but they will get your web address then. And most people will understand what that means.
Another thing, guys, to remember, everything is constantly in flux. Change is the one constant in the universe, other than God. God is obviously the main constant. But back to Craigslist, just to give you an idea why we're so enthusiastic about using this is because for us personally, when I was actively, as you know now, my license is temporarily in referral while I'm teaching this program. But the first month that I had Beverly screen calls for me from Craigslist ads, we actually generated 100 referrals that very first month. And I'm not talking leads. These are actual screened, warmed up prospects just from doing this. And I had another person who was actually creating the ads for me. And so I want you to remember that this is a powerful tool when you know how to use it. Another factor here to consider is when you're using it. So just to give you some background, Craigslist, of course, has been around for a while now. And 10 years ago, that everybody was being taught you got to create ads and run them 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening. And while that was true for most parts of the country, and by the way, other parts of the country, it was more like we had to do it during mid-morning and mid-afternoon. So each part of the country, U.S. and I'll just say U.S. and Canada, was behaving differently. So you actually have to study your marketplace. The reason I'm telling you that is we literally did this coast to coast. We were running ads all over the place, and when we still do. We just do different stuff now. Matter of fact, we're working on something as we speak that we're going to roll out probably in May or June, and I'll announce it then. But it's going to and it doesn't cost anything. It's just going to be another feature we've been looking to provide. It's going to allow you guys to post your own ads, put profiles out there, and also let clients put ads out there too, and allow people to search. But the reason we do all that is we actually do generate a lot of referrals, and we want you guys to be able to do the same thing. So in any case, just remember 100, again, these aren't leads. These are actual screened prospects in a month. The very first month we did it. That's pretty powerful stuff. So, and back to what I was saying, that the time frame that you post, you can still post during the week, Monday through Friday, morning rush hour, noon, lunchtime, and evening rush hour. Or if you're in places like Tidewater, Virginia, that's going to be mid-morning and mid-afternoon. That was one market we discovered was behaving differently. But here's what nobody else is doing. So I want you to make sure you write this down. You actually will get better results. You will get a higher return call rate or email rate if you post on Saturday and or Sunday mornings. Not real early, just 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. people are getting up, having their coffee, reading the paper, and they're goofing off and seeing what's on Craigslist if they want to go look at houses that day or look for investment properties. And the point here is more people are looking in a casual mode on Saturday and Sunday mornings than they are during the week. During the week, they're too rushed. And also during the week, the volume of ads is much, much greater than the volume of ads on the weekend. And it baffles me why more agents don't post on Saturday and Sunday mornings, because when do most people want to go look at properties? So keep that in mind. You can save yourself a bundle of time just by posting on Saturday and Sunday mornings as opposed to during the week. I'm not saying don't do it during the week. What I'm saying is, regardless of what you do during the week, definitely do this on the weekends. Bev, anything you want to add on to that, what I just described there, as far as timing?
No, I mean, you pretty much summed it up. The only thing that I will say is something that I mentioned earlier. As you post your ad in Craigslist, it's not there 5 minutes and there's a couple more people that have posted, so your ad keeps moving down the list. So if you really want Craigslist to work for you, you need to be consistent about posting. You can't post one time, walk away, and think it's going to work, because it won't. Your ad will get lost. So Gary is stressing on that a lot, I think, because that was what made it work for us. And he's absolutely correct. We had 100 the first month, and we had more than that the next month. So if you do it consistently with your timing, I do believe in the Monday through Friday, morning, noon, and evening with the rush hour traffics. Once people get in their offices in the morning, lunchtime break, I believe that that helps. And it keeps to continually get your name out there, which carries clout. But he's so right about the weekends. A lot of agents are not doing that. They're taking their weekends off. And trust me, it takes you 10 or 15 minutes in the morning to post a couple ads, and it will, again, get you out there a little more. So, yep, that's it. That's all I have to say about that. But if there are any other questions, Gary, I can move on with this. Were there any others?
Yeah, go ahead and move forward. I'll check, and so far we're all caught up here. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we have our ad. I'm going to continue to the next page. And what you can see here is that it's mapped it. So just always check your map. We know that our property is located on McDonald Avenue. So if we look here where I'm following with my little hand, you can see McDonald Avenue. So we're good to go with the mapping. So we're going to continue. And this is where we can add an image. And as I said, Alyssa and I just chose one picture for the sake of posting the property tonight. So we're only going to do one. If we wanted to add more, I've just added the one. I would just go to Add Images, click on that, browse my picture folder, and pull up another one. And if you read up here, this posting has one image of a maximum of 24. So you can put 24 photos for each ad. And, you know, the more the better. Just like I said earlier, make certain that they're good, clean photos, something that you want to present that property, you know, as best you can. Now we're going to click Done with Images. And this is now going to show us a preview of the ad. Now, I specifically left something out of this ad that I want to put in because I wanted to show you how to go back and edit. But we'll take a look at the ad first. You can see $499, 4-bedroom investment opportunity in East LA. There's our map. There's the picture of the property. Here's the verbiage that we selected in the body, which again, see how breaking it up makes it a little bit more eye-appealing and easier to read. So there is one thing that I want to add to this, and it was just to make it stand out a little bit more, and I want to make my ad as easy for the person who wants to respond to me as it possibly can be. I don't want them to have to be searching for information. So what we're going to do is we're going to add Alyssa's phone number right into the body of this ad, and that was what I purposely left out to edit. So if you look at your ad, you're screening it, you see there's something that you need to change, you can go up here to edit image. If you need to edit the map, you can go up here to edit location, or we're going to edit post. So I'm going to click on edit post. I'm going to page down. We're going to copy Alyssa's phone number. And I am going to type call. Oops, we didn't want that there. See, I can't hold the phone and type, guys. Okay. Now we'll continue forward. And when we go down, you'll see her phone number has now been added. So again, my prospective buyer viewing this ad is not going to have to look anywhere. All of the information is going to be right here. They see which agency she's at, that she is the listing agent. They've got the information about the property, the map, and how to contact her. So once you review your ad, it says up here, this is an unpublished draft. You would click here to publish. We go down, double check everything. Again, you can edit post, edit location, edit images. Once you know that everything is as you want it to be, you click publish, which I'm clicking publish. Alyssa, there goes your ad. It's on Craigslist and it's out there. Now, if we want to view our ad, we can click on this and we will see what it looks like. Once you have created your Craigslist account, so you have it assigned to an email address, which is yours, once your ad goes live, Craigslist sends you an email and it says your ad is now live. It usually takes about 15 minutes. So let's click on what our ad looks like. And there it is, exactly as we previewed. So, and you'll see down here, it hides the phone number until they click on it. It says show information. They can also click up here, but some people reading Craigslist don't know that. So that's why I always like to make it as easy for them as possible. And I put Alyssa's phone number in the ad. So that is Craigslist. And do we have any more questions about that, Gary?
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up is when you're creating your ad, for anybody on the webinar tonight that wants to use Craigslist in a traditional sense, let's say you want to use it to post ads on your non-investor properties, owner-occupied properties. In the verbiage, it's going to be more, you want to have more of an emotional appeal. Because remember, the mindset of an owner-occupant is different than the mindset of an investor. So in an investor ad, you definitely want to put things out there that's going to get an investor's attention, like how much money the thing makes, okay? Obviously very important. Location, of course, is important too. So it's going to be more feature-laden, all right? Typically in ads, you're going to put more benefits first and very few features. And then when someone responds to you on the ad, then you give them the rest of the features. With investor ads, what we discovered is the more you give them, the better, because the people who call are almost like pre-qualifying themselves. They're responding because they like what you put in there and you gave them a lot of information. And the ones who don't like it are not going to call. And that's good for you because you don't want the people who have no interest calling you. Now back to the owner occupants. The ad is going to be more benefit laden and less feature laden. So what I mean is you might want to say something like in the very first sentence, imagine your short walk to the park on Saturday afternoons. If you're near some type of a shopping center or a mall, you could say, a short walk to the mall, or there's a river flowing through behind the property, something like that. That for an owner occupant is going to definitely get their attention. If you got something like that you need to talk about it and put it in the form of benefits. River flowing behind the property, park within walking distance, world-renowned shopping mall like the Mall of what is it? The Super Mall USA. I forget, the Mall of America. That's what I'm trying to think of. And I think it's in Minneapolis. But things like that will get people's attention. Back to the investor, though, they're not necessarily caring about the river flowing down behind the property. What they're caring about is how much money does this thing make, okay? And any other things you can tell them about the current situation. Like in this case, the owner maybe wants a fast sale, and that's why they want all cash or hard money loan. All right, there must be something there, some motivating factor that perhaps your buyer can tap into. So in any case, that's what I wanted to point out, Bev. So go ahead and I'll give it back to you.
Sure. Yeah, Gary brings up a very good point. Now, this property that we just used tonight was a property that was sent out to all of you yesterday. So you guys actually all received it. And something very interesting that you received that Gary just kind of brought up, you received a link, and the link had a lot of information about the property's financials and other specifics, addendums, etc. And that is something else. You could use information from that in an investment property. So I think that's what Gary was a little leaning towards in terms of information for investors on properties. But yeah, that's it on Craigslist. There's really nothing else. I mean, it's a very simple process. And whenever you guys receive this tomorrow, again, you'll be talked through it again. So watch it as many times as you need to. And if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thanks, Bev. Yeah, if you guys,
Sure.
and for you guys, if you have a new listing on a multi-unit building, for example, please share it, because we've seen referrals go literally across the country and between the U.S. and Canada. We've had them go from Cincinnati to Montreal, from San Francisco to Hawaii, and we don't, when Keller Williams, My Investment Services, we don't take a part of that. That's between you guys. We just help you facilitate it. So the reason that's important is a lot of your investors you're discovering, number one, are from foreign countries, but number two is they don't want just to invest right where they are. We have plenty of you folks out there who have investors who are investing in Orlando, Florida, and Detroit, Michigan, for example, or Phoenix, Arizona, and in Chicago, or Phoenix and Boston, Mass. So referrals are floating back and forth because of that. So when we put properties out there, don't just think, well, that's not in my area. Think, who do I know, or do I know somebody who might know somebody who might be interested in that property, and get yourself a referral fee or a commission somehow or another out of it. It's going to help each other sell the properties, and you can certainly benefit from it. So always think outside the box. Okay. All right. Thanks, Bev. Go ahead and take it from there.
Sure. The next thing that I'm going to show you is how to find HUD homes for sale. And this is even simpler than Craigslist. And you're going to be amazed at how simple this is. Again, don't worry about the website. I'm going to send it out to you tomorrow, but it's just HUDhomestore.com. And whenever you plug that in, you're going to pull up this page. And there's actually two different ways that you can search for HUD homes here. Since we are already working in California tonight, I'm going to show you California. If you go over to the United States map, you can click on any of these states. And I'm going to click on California. And what it's doing is it's pulling up all the HUD homes in California. So it's covering a very big area. I'm going to show you in the next step how to streamline that so that you can narrow it down by county, because you're probably not going to want to search a whole state. But I did want to show you how you can search a whole state, and this is what comes up. So what you would see then is a picture of the property case number, the address, the price of the property. This one's not showing a status. I don't know why. Bedrooms, bathrooms. It says exclusive owner occupants, nonprofits, government agencies only. There's sometimes notes on these. The bid open date, and then you could click here for a map.
Hey, Bev.
Click here to view street. Yes.
Hey, real quick. So what happens, guys, when HUD, Housing and Urban Development, puts a property out there, almost always in the initial offering phase, it's going to be restricted to nonprofits and other government agencies to pick it up, and then they'll open it up to owner occupants. That's why this one has already been through the nonprofit phase. Now they're adding owner occupants to, and what that means is that's who can potentially buy the property. So at this stage, this property is not available to investors. The final and third stage is when they open it up to investors. So if it didn't sell in phase one, did not sell in phase two, it'll be offered in phase three to all investors, all bid, open bid. That's just the way the business works with HUD. And for people, if you ever have a client say, well, just tell them I'm going to live in the place. Don't ever do that, because you actually have to sign an affidavit. You actually have to verify that your client is in fact an owner occupant. And if it turns out they find out later on that they're not only could the buyer be in trouble, but you could be in trouble too. And I'll tell you, I've had that happen to me, not the whole 9 yards, but I had a client who wanted to make an offer on a property and have me put it through the owner occupant phase so he could beat all the competition. And I said, well, I can't do that. It's against the law, and it's a felony, and I'm not going to jeopardize my license. He didn't like it, but what he did is he called back the next day and said, fine, put it in my daughter's name. She's going to live there. Okay. And I said, are you serious? And he said, yes, I'm going to put it in her name, and you can vouch for that because I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. And I did. Turns out he didn't get the property that at that time, but later on the property came back on the market because whoever outbid him couldn't follow through. And at that point, it went back into the market. It went out as an investor phase, so he was able to buy it in his own name at that point. Just kind of an interesting turn of events. But the bottom line is, always make sure you protect your license like it's gold, because it is gold. And one transaction is not worth risking that, or even one client. So, and by the way, if you're wondering why are we talking about HUD properties, the reason is HUD, Housing Urban Development, of course, is the Department of HUD. When they take a property back, HUD doesn't owe them. You and I own them as taxpayers. We own those properties as taxpayers. And what that means is every time HUD puts a listing out, even though they list it with a listing agent, like me, for example, I was one of the HUD sellers. I was listing homes for HUD for quite a while. Any other agent can advertise those properties without permission. So you can advertise any property you want on the MLS with the listing agent's permission. The one exception is HUD, which is they're called open listings, which means anybody can advertise them, anybody can sell them. You still collect the listing fee if you're a listing agent, but someone else is going to get the buyer's agency fee if they find the buyer. And that's great, because my motive is just to sell the darn property. I don't need to have all those buyer sides. I like them, but if somebody else sold the property, the more people looking at it, the more people presenting it, the faster it's going to sell. But the point is if you don't have any listings, and you're frustrated because we just showed you how to put listings on Craigslist, don't worry, because what Bev's showing you is because some of you might not have any listings, and now you have a way to post ads on HUD listings. That's the one listing you can do that for. You can't do it for Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or any others, but for HUD you can. So sorry, Bev, to get off on a tangent. I just wanted to explain that to people.
No.
Yeah.
That was a very good point, Gary. And then just to show you a little bit more of what Gary was saying, if you see where I highlighted exclusive, it says owner, occupants, nonprofits, government agencies only, and then look at extended, all bidders. So that's what Gary was talking about. And you can see there's been a price drop on this particular property. And while we're looking at this property, I'm going to go into the property case number just so you can see what type of information would be available to you. This basically gives you everything that you need to post an ad with. There's all the property information. There's a whole series of pictures. There you've got the list date, the price, amenities, wood stove, fence, garage, any addendums. So there's any type of additional information that you would need, maps. And then this third's going to show you the listing broker, the asset manager, and field service manager. So you've got all the contact information that you may need. So what I just showed you was how to find listings off of the map. Now, what I'm going to show you is how to narrow it down, because obviously you're not going to want to look at a whole state. So let's show you where I just was, Florida, and it was awesome, Gary. We'll go to Dade County. So if we search Dade County in Florida, you can see now that not as many homes come up. We've got one page. So it narrowed it down to the county that you want to look at. And you've got the same thing again. Case numbers, addresses, price, status, bedrooms, bath, extended or exclusive. And we're going to go back and we're going to do another search. This time I will show you Pennsylvania, and we'll do Westmoreland County. And we will search here. And there you see again, there's our list, and we've narrowed it down by county. And that really, I mean, it's that simple. There's really nothing else to it than that. Unless, Gary, there's something that you have to add, or if there's any questions that came through.
Let me check for questions. And then while I'm doing that, on the HUD website, there are a lot of other pieces of information you can gather. Like they give you an inspection report on there. They also let you know if there's been any other reports done for mold or radon or any other kind of thing. So they just fully disclose every single thing about the property. And it's easy to do because you click on you just click on one, Bev, and then we can show them all the different things. If you go to there you go, addendums, look at all that stuff. You know, it's all in there. Yep. And of course, you get the agent information too if you should ever need to contact them. So let me check for questions. This is from Alyssa. Sorry I missed it. Do you need the listing agent permission to advertise to HUD Home? Alyssa, people will argue with you on this, but when you advertise, let's say you saw a listing you really thought was pretty cool. It did not HUD, just any traditional listing. You actually are allowed to advertise it, but in that case, you do have to get the listing agent's permission. Okay, because sometimes they'll even put in their contract and they have the seller, the owner, sign it that says that you're not allowed to have other people advertise it, which I don't understand because it's in the seller's best interest to have as many people advertising that thing as possible. However, back to your question, HUD is the only exception to that. And you can talk to 100 brokers and get 100 different answers, but if you talk to HUD, they will tell you, oh, no, no, no. HUD listings are open listings, and any agent can advertise any HUD listing at any time. Okay, but as a courtesy, Alyssa, what I would recommend doing is just send an email, say, hey, I like your HUD listing. I think I can sell it. I understand that HUD listings are all open listings, therefore I'll go ahead and advertise this. And I have had people call me. I've had brokers call me and not understand the rules, and I'll just give them a quick email back, explain to them how it works, and then I never hear from them again. So just always do the courteous thing and notify them. Although I've had a lot of agents advertise my HUD listings and never ever notify me at all. They just put them out there. No, I understood the rules, so I didn't care. In fact, I was glad. I mean, they're helping me sell the properties. So good question though.
Gary, I have a question.
Yep.
Like I know legally we can do this because we've done it. But is there anything anywhere in writing that someone could like basically copy paste if they had someone questioning their integrity that says that the HUD listing is an open listing? Is there any place that you know of?
I bet you could contact HUD and they would give you their listing guidelines for free. In fact, you might be able to get them on here. If there's not on the individual listings here, Bev, but if you see up top of the bar where it says Home, HUD News, Resources, NAID application, find a broker.
Yeah.
If you look
maybe under
resources or even NAID application, well, there you go right there. There's all kinds of information you can look at, and it'll describe.
Okay, because I felt that question coming from someone.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sure if you Google it, we can find anything on Google. So you can probably get that verbiage somewhere.
Well, if you even look at the listing agreement that you get with HUD, it has it right in there. I mean, I don't have one with me because I don't do it anymore, but it's in there. But more importantly, they have it. It's publicly, it's known. It's not like it's a secret, and I'm sure they can send you their guidelines. It's free. You just say, I'm interested. I might want to apply to be a HUD lister. Can you give me the guidelines and the rules and regulations, and they'll give them to you.
Okay.
So, okay. Let me check questions because I think we're pretty close to wrapping up. And Bev, I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, not a problem.
I know this is outside your regular work hours, and most people on the webinar are either agents or investors or both. And so we appreciate you. I know your hours are normally Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. So this is a big favor you're doing for us, and I'm sure everybody appreciates it. And if you want to say thanks to Bev, go ahead and type it in, and I can show her the question log from that. But from time to time, we'll have Jody do this, or Beverly do it, or Paul, to pitch it and show exactly what they're doing. So instead of me just telling you about it, we can actually show you what it is we're doing. And don't forget, if you've got a multi-unit property or invested property you're looking to sell, please let us know. And keep in mind, I mean, I kind of let the cat out of the bag. Within a few months, we're going to be able to give you the opportunity to load them up yourself directly online. And then every investor agent everywhere in the U.S. and Canada will be able to see it and promote it to their investors. It's an awesome way to get more activity, more traction on your properties. And Bev, the thank yous are pouring in. So, yeah.
You're so welcome, guys. And like I said, any questions on any of this, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're here to help. I mean, that's what we do. You've got an entire year to go through this, and and try as much as you can possibly do. And you've got my phone number. You've got Bev's. Just don't be shy. Just get out there and take action, guys, because people who take action get results. That is I cannot emphasize that enough. The difference between success and deja vu is putting that one step in front of the other, and don't be afraid to try things, even if it doesn't work the first time. That's how you learn. Okay. So sorry, I'm having a preaching moment. But you guys all have a wonderful night, and then we will see you. Let's see, next week. Let me check back here. Is going to be, wildly enough, on Wednesday again. So next Wednesday we'll be doing it. I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Bev, let me know if we got Paul doing that one or not, or if not, I know what I'm going to do, but it takes 4 weeks for me to do what I'm going to do. I'd rather have Paul go first, and then I'm going to give them 4 weeks in a row of his particular technique. We'll iron that out before next week. So,
Okay.
in any case, thank you everyone for being online and participating. It means a lot to me. It's very fulfilling, and I love to help others. I love to serve. I love to teach. And thanks again, Beverly. And you all have a
You're welcome.
wonderful, thank you. You all have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next week. Okay,
Good
bye-bye.
night, everyone.
Okay, good night.